So let's talk about someone completely different. Let's talk about movie stars.
If you say so.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about Errol Flynn.
Okay. Errol Flynn, Captain Blood,
Yeah, there
The
you go.
Adventures of Robin Hood,
Straight on.
famous swashbuckler of the early. I think he started in silent films and made the transition to voice.
Yep.
Okay.
He was just the epitome of the dashing, handsome movie star. Really kind of helped shape that mold of the handsome movie star.
Yeah.
And was just dashing.
Did his own sword fighting, as I understand it.
Right, all that. Very, very proud of himself.
Yeah.
Okay. And so one day he is, you're going to love this, by the way. He is filming a movie called They Died With Their Boots On, a film commemorating Custer's last stand. Okay.
Wow,
And he
okay.
is playing Custer. Right?
Okay.
He looks over.
This all feels very weird in 2021, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Different time,
But
I
this
guess.
is going to go down some weird streets here. So
All
Errol
right.
Flynn, playing Custer, just having the time of his life, being a handsome, rich movie star. And a little bit arrogant, right? A little bit vain. And he looks over and he sees one of the extras. Right? Not a co-star or anything, just one of the native extras.
Okay.
Right? And this guy picks up a 12-pound sledgehammer by the handle, holds it straight out, brings it back, touches it to his nose, and puts it back. And Errol Flynn's like, cool, let me try. Brings it back, can't control it. It hits him in the head, giving him a big old bruise. And so he feels like his honor has been slighted. Well, it only gets better, Mike. Keep with me here.
I have thoughts.
He goes and finds this extra in this little cafe right outside
Okay.
and goes and takes a swing at him.
Oh boy.
This movie extra easily dodges his punch and lays him out flat at a single blow.
Well, yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay.
That movie extra, Jim Thorpe.
Yay!
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, that no-name extra that nobody recognized was none other than Jim Thorpe, just trying to make a few extra bucks playing a native in one of these, moving pictures.
Because Jim Thorpe was Native American, right?
He was absolutely. He was of the Sac and Fox tribe, native to Oklahoma. His native name was Wathohook. I apologize for that. Being translated either as bright path or
Okay.
the light that comes after lightning.
Bright path. So like the little
I think so.
the okay, bright
Yeah.
path. The burned out streak that lightning leaves in your vision.
Yes.
That is a heck of a name.
Right?
It's a lot to live up to.
Right? So let's talk about, let's go back to the beginning. I just couldn't resist the Errol Flynn story.
Okay, I have questions. First, I know the name Jim Thorpe. I know a couple of stories, but he's a runner, right?
Well,
Okay.
this is where it gets a little weird. We absolutely have to go back to the beginning. Okay? And I'm warning you right now, this is going to be a roller coaster.
Okay.
There's no way around this. This is going to be a roller coaster. All right? So, we have young Jim Thorpe,
Mm-hmm.
who was born in Oklahoma.
Okay.
His father, who everyone kind of agrees was sort of a rough man. Everybody was afraid of him except for Jim.
Mm-hmm.
But his father believed that his son should get an education, right?
Good.
Believed in schooling.
I agree with that.
And so he would load him up in his buggy and drive him 20-something miles to the school where he was supposed to stay and get an education. Oftentimes, by the time the father got back with the buggy, Jim was already back home, having run home ahead of the horses.
Okay.
And so the father started taking him to schools farther away. I think at one point he took him to a school 200 miles away from home. And when Jim's twin brother died, Charlie, very sad. In fact, he often said that his strength came because he had absorbed the spirit of his brother, had the strength of his brother. There's our first little dip on this roller coaster.
Yeah, I felt it.
He went home, like 200 miles, just went there,
Just
on foot.
up and ran home.
Yep, wanted to be home, and so he went home. And so this was kind of the beginning, and he ends up at the Carlisle School. This begins our first little bit of the world Jim was growing up in. Because the founder of the Carlisle School, one of their mottos was, "Kill the Indian within, save the man."
Oh.
This was an institution, all these schools were really, they were an institution designed to eliminate and crush any sort of native culture, right?
Great.
Those that were left over from the Indian Wars, we wanted to assimilate, right?
Great.
It
What
gets uglier.
year are we talking, more or less?
All right, so this
When
would
are
have
we?
been right around the turn of the century, so around like 1900,
Okay.
right? Give or take, in that era.
Okay.
Pretty bad. Anyway, and one day he's hanging out in like overalls, work boots, and he sees some seniors doing high jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was before, by the way, they did the whole like back thing or thing. It was just like how high you could just, right? Jump over.
Okay.
And they're not making it. And he says, "I want to try." And they're like, "Psh, go for it." And so he goes and he jumps it, clears it with ease. They said there was like 2 or 3 inches between his feet and the thing. And the next morning he's called in to meet with Pop Warner. The Pop Warner. Like Pop Warner
like-
Little League,
Yeah.
named after that guy.
Whose name was Pop?
That's what everybody called him. He may have had another
Okay.
name once, but I've never run into any other name but Pop Warner. I didn't research him. I was researching Jim. He might have had another name, but I've never seen him referred to in at least the records I was reading as anything other than Pop Warner.
Okay.
And he calls him in. And Jim's like, "Did I do something wrong?" He's like, "You just broke the school record is all." This was the highest anyone had ever jumped. And he had cleared it with great ease. And so Pop Warner says, "Okay, now I've got my track star." But then Jim discovers football and wants to play football. And Pop says, no. Right? I don't want to lose my track star. Don't play football. But Jim keeps at it.
Okay. What Pop Warner has some connection to this Indian school?
He was the coach.
Place?
He was the coach for Carlisle.
At this like cultural genocide school.
Yes. It's weird.
Okay.
Because on the one hand, it was definitely set up to dismantle any native culture. But it was also an Indian school. Right?
Okay.
It was almost entirely peopled by natives, and like there was also a little bit of pride in that school by the natives themselves. Right?
All right.
So like
All
sure,
right.
it's not optimal, but
It's
it
not
is
great.
ours.
Okay.
Right? In fact, Jim even passes up some fairly lucrative possibilities to go back and play for Carlisle. Right? So there
Okay.
is a lot of loyalty here to the school and to Pop Warner. I brought up the whole Carlisle thing just to kind of set the stage of how his people were viewed.
Yeah, we're living in a rough time.
Yeah.
But the situation with the school is complicated as real life tends to be. All right.
Yes. All right.
I'm on board we want to play football now.
We want to play football. Coach says no. Jim keeps going for it. So the coach finally says, fine. And I think he was just trying to break his spirit a little bit, right? Just talk him out of it. Says,
Like great coaches do.
Like great coaches do. He says, all right, we will let you be tackling practice for them. Right?
Ugh.
We'll let you help out with practice by letting these big, angry people tackle you. No one could. Nobody could tackle Jim. They could not get him off his feet. And that is when Pop Warner started to really realize what he had here. This was something else.
Okay.
Right? This was... Oh, somebody found it. Thank you, Internet, and thank you, Cat Harker. Glenn Scobie Warner. At one point had more wins than any college football coach.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Glenn Scobie, huh?
Glenn Scobie.
I
By the
guess
way,
I'd probably go by Pop, too.
whole lot of those wins, Jim Thorpe.
Just hand him the ball, have him walk to the end zone.
One of the first people ever at that school to rush over 2,000 yards.
Holy smokes.
Got multiple touchdowns every game. And most notably, when he left, they stopped winning.
Dang it.
And when he came back, they started winning again. With Jim Thorpe winning, without Jim Thorpe, no winning. So...
Dang it.
Yeah, a lot of Pop Warner's thing was Jim Thorpe.
Was
Okay.
give Jim the ball.